Hi guys, welcome back to my channel Lush Foliage. In today's video we are going to be talking about another beautiful begonia, which is again the angel wing begonia called as the red torch. Now I'll tell you in a while why it's called as red torch, but here you can see this is the reason why these are called as angel wing, because you can see the shape of the leaves. They tend to resemble a lot like the wings of an angel, so that's why they are from the variety of angel wings. As I said, that there are other varieties like wax begonias, Rex begonias, cane begonias, and the angel wings as well. The cane and the angel wings are quite similar to each other. Now this was a cutting that I had got from my friend, and as you can see it is starting to put out a new leaf. As of now, I have kept the begonia under a clear plastic sheet because it's just a small little cutting. It does not have roots yet, so I'm just waiting for it to root. Now, as I said, the reason why this is called as red torch, probably it's because of the leaves that are the undertone. The underneath of the leaves are really bright red in color, almost like a red torch. So probably that's how they tend to get the name. All of the leaves, whether it's the mature leaves or the new leaves, all the leaves have this very strong red underneath, and that's what makes this begonia an absolutely beautiful, stunning plant. Now the care requirements remains the same. You have to ensure that the soil is loose, porous and well draining. They do not like to be sitting in soggy, wet soil. They prefer a soil that is very loose and airy. So ensure that you're using some sand and perlite to make or to loosen the soil mix. They do not like a very compact soil. They prefer a soil mix that tends to retain a slight amount of moisture. Hence, I tend to use the same soil mix, which is a mix of coco peat, garden soil, sand and perlite. You'll have to increase and decrease the coco peat as per your environment. Talking about watering, as I said, they prefer slight amount of moisture in the soil. So ensure that you do not let the soil dry completely. Otherwise, the begonia will start to have issues. Whenever you see around 1 to 2 inches of the upper layer of soil is dry, go ahead and do a complete watering. During summers, the frequency of watering will be a little bit more, and the frequency of watering will reduce during winters. Now, ideally, they do not go into dormancy, but it's always better to reduce the watering during winters because that's when it takes a little bit of more time for the soil to dry, and you do not want to overwater your begonia. Talking about temperature and humidity, they will do well in a temperature that is between 15 degrees Celsius up to 34-35 degrees Celsius. They do love a lot of humidity, but over the period of time, they have also adapted to average humidity as well. So there is nothing much to be worried. You can grow it indoor, you can grow it outdoor. If you're growing it outdoor, ensure that you're keeping it in indirect bright light because they do not like direct sunlight. So that brings us to the point, where should we keep our begonia? As you've seen, the underneath of the leaves are darker in color, are red in color. Remember, this is the same thing what is there in the calatheas. So whenever you see any plant that has a darker underleaf, please do not expose them to direct sunlight, otherwise they will get burnt. Because in their natural habitat, or in their natural environment, they tend to grow in a place where there is not much light, hence they develop this darker undertone to capture as much light as possible. So you need to understand by looking at the plant. Give this plant a good amount of indirect bright light and the plant will do quite well. A little bit less light is also okay, but then as I said, if you're going to give less light, then you'll have to compromise on the growth. So the best thing what you can do is give it a good amount of indirect bright light. Do not expose it to direct sunlight. If you're growing it indoors, ensure you're keeping it closer to the windowsill where it gets a good amount of light. Do not keep it under a air conditioning vent or a heater because that will damage the leaves. Talking about pest issues, usually the plants do not get affected with any mealybugs or aphids. Aphids might come in if there are any bloom stalks because these tend to put out a lot of flowers. So you might happen to see any aphids during the blooming time. So always do a routine check. If you tend to see any mealybugs or aphids, you can go with any organic solution that you have been using all this while. Propagation of begonias is pretty simple. You can do a stem cutting. You can do a propagation via leaf as well. Remember, as I said, I will definitely make a video. Right now, most of my begonias are in a little bit bad condition because of the weather. So right now, doing any kind of leaf propagation or stem cutting would not be ideal. But whenever the monsoon season comes, whenever I have my begonias thriving, I will definitely make a video on either the leaf propagation or the stem propagation. You can do a stem cutting as well. Put it in a glass of water and it will start to root. But as and when I'm going to make the video, I will definitely keep you guys updated. Adding of fertilizers can be done during the summer months because this is when they are in the active growing period. They also tend to bloom. So you can go with any liquid based fertilizer. Ensure that you weaken the strength before giving it to your plant. You can do this either once a month or you can do it twice a month. It's absolutely okay during the growing period. Now, the most important question, is this plant toxic? Yes, all begonias are toxic. Their leaves contain calcium oxalate. Now, this crystalline substance is mildly toxic both to humans as well as pets. So ensure that you're keeping this plant away from the reach of small children and pets. Apart from that, it's a quite easy to grow begonia, unlike the Rex begonias. As I've said, Rex begonias are a little bit more delicate, whereas the angel wings or the cane begonias and the wax begonias are much easy to handle. So even if you are a beginner, you can definitely add this in your collection. Right now my plant is very small. When it tends to grow huge, it looks absolutely beautiful, but as and when that happens, I will definitely keep you guys updated. So guys, that's all about it. I hope that this video was helpful to you. If it was, please hit the like button, and if you're new to my channel, please consider subscribing to it. Until then, take care, stay safe, and keep propagating.